Police have identified two more victims of a suspected serial killer. Their bodies found behind a strip mall in New Britain, bringing the number of identified bodies there to 6 now. Here they are: Diane Cusick, Joy Valine Martinez, Mary Jean Menard, Melanie Ruth Camillini, and today Danny Lee Wisnant and Nilsa Arizmendi. They all disappeared in 2003. Arizmendi's convicted killer, William Devin Howell, has been in prison since 2005. Sources tell us he is the suspect in this entire serial killing. Today, though, law enforcement still refuse to speculate.
He's been convicted of killing Nilsa, and that's it as far as any conclusions can be made at this time.
One more body there still has not yet been publicly identified. Police say they do know who that person is. They say they don't foresee any more arrests in this case. Tonight, there is finally some much-needed closure from the family of this woman, Nilsa Arizmendi. Tonight, we spoke with Wethersfield police. They say one detective in all this was key in tracking down Howell and putting him behind bars. News 8's Bob Wilson live tonight with more. Bob?
Yeah, you know, at times the case just hung by a thread, and that detective refused to let go. He kept the shoe leather going, rolled up the sleeves, and he went after him, and he tracked down the man responsible for her murder. Police didn't have much to go on 12 years ago. Only the last few minutes, Nilsa Arizmendi was seen alive. Her friend says she got into the back of a blue van at a Stop and Shop with a man named Devin. She was missing for about a week when a Wethersfield detective got the case back in 2003.
It's been quite a while, especially somebody who was in constant contact with their family. To be missing that long, kind of raised the hackles on the back of your neck, saying, maybe there's something wrong here.
The chief says through a lot of hard work and determination, the detective was able to track down the man named Devin, whose full name was William Devin Howell, and his van in North Carolina. Even though the van had been cleaned and stripped, the chief says detectives found enough hair and blood to force Howell to plead guilty to manslaughter.
I believe it was the bottom part of the seats were gone, probably because they were saturated. But there was blood on the upper parts of the seats too, and that's what they were able to trace to the two different women.
Now, the chief says because it's still an active and ongoing case, he can't release the identity of the detective, only to say that he is still a part of the task force over in New Britain. However, the chief gives that one detective a lot of credit because this all started out with a routine missing persons case.
Just think about all the lives that were saved because of the fact that he was convicted. It was a great team effort between the prosecution and the police, and they were able to make the case.
But there is still much more to be done. Along with a second woman's blood found in the van, there was a videotape with images of more women.
Multiple females. And I'm not sure where that plays in this investigation right now, because, but I have a feeling that that's going to be an important piece of evidence later.
The Wethersfield chief wanted to make sure to point out that it might have been one detective that kind of started down that road, but he had a huge backup support from the prosecutor's office to the chief state's attorney's office to Wethersfield, other detectives, state police. He said the list is so long, too numerous to count, and there's now the task force is moving forward. As you said, they don't expect any arrests immediately, but they do have 3, 4, 5 years ahead of them to kind of work this case before Howell is scheduled to be released in 2019. I'm Bob Wilson, reporting live in Hartford, News 8.